is all about the types of seed terms
Yep.
that you'll notice on seed packets as you go to start your seeds indoors this year.
Times we say most seeds don't need light to go underground.
Yes.
Some of them need to be on top of the ground. They need the heat and the light hitting them.
Says, what is your favorite backyard scent?
Dial.
Yeah.
Touch the seed, it'll feel very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a couple of rubs, touch it. If you're like, it still feels more smooth than rough,
Yep.
scuff it again.
Okay.
Scuff.
The Helpful Gardeners, the podcast that digs into the buzziest plant trends and news you need to know, regardless of your growing zone. Colin is a skilled horticulturist with decades of growing experience across Canada. Brandy is the greenest of green thumbs with a love of asking questions. Welcome to our Garden Nook.
You know, I was driving to work this morning and there was this beautiful frost just covering all the trees and bushes. And it just got me thinking about how, we're so excited for spring, but as much as I hate to say it, there's some things about winter that I'm going to miss. And that's definitely one of them. I don't know. What are you going to miss about winter?
Fresh snowfall.
Oh,
Everything looks
yeah.
beautiful. Everything is quiet.
Oh,
Everything is
yeah.
muffled.
Good point.
Early winter, late winter, the steam coming off the river and then everything freezing around it in that, deep, bright white frost.
Yeah.
Things like that, I could happily live without ever seeing that again in my
Yeah.
life. There's something really, really special about going out at night when it's not freezing. It's like -5, -10 in a fresh snowfall.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nobody else out and you're walking around and that's pretty special.
So there's a few things that we're going to miss about winter time. Obviously spring trumps all, but it's, it's going to be missed in some aspects. We got a great question in from Sandy, who says, what is your favorite backyard scent?
Oh,
Great question, Sandy.
This
is going to get me excited. I'm going to put whatever this is on our Springo card.
Well, there's so many.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I love the smell of lilac.
Yeah, lilac, sweet peas.
Fresh cut lawn is so good.
Yeah, which apparently is a distress signal released by the enzymes in the lawn to warn other plants that there's
the
damage
lawnmower's
happening.
coming.
And apparently that's
It sounds like a Wallace and Gromit.
but it does smell amazing to
Yeah.
us. That smell. Oh, I can't remember the name of it now. It was on the tip of my tongue. When that rain first hits the ground.
Oh, I hate you. I forget that sound
Yeah.
too. Or that's that
And
name.
it releases that compound.
Yes.
So
Oh, I forget.
apparently humans can smell that 10 times better than sharks can smell blood in the water.
Oh.
Yeah. That's got to.
That's a good smell too.
Especially when you've had, a week, 2 weeks of dry and dusty, and not the hailstorm, but the rain.
Yes.
And that smell releases from the garden. That's that. You know what? The two smells I'm going to pick for me. I'm going to pick that one, and the smell. And this might sound egotistical or weird, but I don't care. I'm going with it. The smell of myself after planting day. So my hands smell like fresh tomatoes. Okay. My hands smell like earth. And I have that whole, there's sunscreen mixed in. There's all of those smells.
I need to take notes. You remember how on Monday we were talking about romance novels? I feel like this is a great description.
But you've put down cedar mulch. You've planted tomatoes.
Yeah.
You've worked in soil. You've got that sunblock on, and all of those smells.
Yeah.
It's spring.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I'm not saying it's necessarily a good smell, but it triggers something in your brain, and you go, "There it is." So, again, weird and egotistical, like the smell of myself, but the smell of having worked in the garden. And probably my favorite, though, is the rainfall on a fresh garden.
Oh, that's a good one. I was also thinking, I actually thought about this the other day. The smell, this is very specific too, but when you're out in the garden at 5 a.m. and there's a bit of dew, but it just, you're out there with like a fresh cup of coffee and you just take in the smell of the dew and the soil and just like before the busyness of the day, there's just something different about that smell.
The air is cool, and Even on windy days, it doesn't seem windy.
No.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Good one.
So good.
Yep.
That, and I mean, lilacs are just something that I grew up with, so that's
Yeah,
definitely one of my favorites.
Lilacs are like sweet peas. Lilacs punch out.
Yes, and apple blossom or like Mayday flowers.
When
that
you
kind
walk
of thing.
into
that.
yeah.
So good. Anyway,
So many. I mean,
Sandy, look at you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm curious. I wonder what Sandy's is. I wish that Sandy had put down what
and
hers is.
you know what though? The great thing about this, great question, Sandy, because I love these ones because there is no wrong answer.
No, and write down what your answer to that would be. Actually, send us a voicemail. Go to goldenacre.ca/podcast and send us a voicemail of what your favorite backyard scent is. Maybe it's something from your childhood, or maybe it's something you're experiencing now as we're getting into spring.
It might be something totally weird, like the smell of a fresh opened bag of coconut coir.
Totally, and we'll put it on our Springo sheet.
Yeah, I hope somebody picks like the smell of a fresh martini.
Does martini smell?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it smells like gin and vermouth. Yeah, but whatever. Hey, if you're drinking it in your backyard and that's your favorite backyard, cheers to that.
So this week I wanted to talk about this great post that you actually sent me from the city of Calgary. They've been doing some great things with regards to the gardening season coming up. And they touched on something that I never even thought about and thought we should pass along to you. It's all about the types of seed terms that you'll notice on seed packets as you go to start your seeds indoors this year. And there were some things I'd never even heard of. So I thought we would kind of go through the list first. You can kind of give us a bit of a definition of what it is, and maybe we can give some examples of some of the things that you would find. I have some here, but and then we'll kind of go into more of like how this will impact you at the garden center. So the first one they talked about was soaking.
Okay, yeah.
So what is soaking?
Exactly that. Take your seeds. So people heavily recommended this for growing cannabis.
Okay.
Or hemp.
Okay.
And basically, before you plant the seed in the soil, you soak it for 12 to 24 hours, just in water.
Peanut butter? Oh, okay, water. Got it. Great.
And some get asked a lot, should it be warm water? Really doesn't matter. Because if you're putting it in water for 24 hours, it's going to become room temperature.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
enough.
I just cold water from the tap,
Yeah.
pop the seeds in, and away you go. Mostly what will happen is you'll put the seeds in, they'll float, but then as the water absorbs, they'll sink or they'll lower a little bit depending, and then they settle, and that's it. It's just that easy.
Yeah.
Just like anything, if you soak it, it tends to become softer.
So I'm assuming like this is a need to or a not to need to.
It's not that you can necessarily go wrong with soaking a seed, but you don't need to, and inherently it's messier. So the bigger seeds like your peas are a lot easier to handle than say a smaller seed like a pepper or a tomato.
Oh, okay.
Because they clump so it's not, if you did soak your tomato seeds, not the end of the world. But there's no need.
Okay.
So it's kind of as needed, where the other ones that you need to do it, you're going to get a higher. I've done things. So I grew cannabis and I didn't soak my seeds. And I put my cannabis in, it grew fine.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so some of them, you're increasing your odds. It's not, if you don't do it, you will get nothing.
Okay, good point. Next one is scarification.
Yep, so that's literally scarring the seed.
How?
So if you're doing it at home and your seed needs to be scarified, a nail file, sharp piece of metal, something. So basically, the seed coat is incredibly tough. That's why they do it. And they need to erode some of that to allow moisture in to start the chemical process. So scarification in the wild will happen passing through an animal's digestive system.
Oh.
The acids will erode it. Or in the case of things like tumbleweed, bouncing along the hard desert, scratches the seeds.
That's so cool.
So things like that. So in Calgary, or in Alberta, I should say, are wind blowing things across rock.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, so that's all it is. You're scarring the surface of the seed.
Yeah.
So it's easier for moisture to get in between the cracks and then start spreading through the seed coat.
Nice. Okay. Next up is stratification. We talked about this last week, but let's do a recap.
Yeah, that's freezing.
Freezing.
Yeah, so basically the seeds need a cold dormancy period, tulip bulbs.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that right off the bat. And they just, if they don't have that cold dormant period, they're not going to grow.
Okay. Next up is smoke or fire.
Yeah. So that is, there are certain species of the lodgepole pine that have pine cones, and the tree can hold that cone for like 3 to 5 years. If there's a fire, which we get because we're prairie, so, get away from any, man-made climate, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
A lightning strike hits, it can start a fire.
Yes.
What happens, fire goes through and burns everything. Well, these cones drop. They have a really, really thick resin. So wildfires burn extremely hot and extremely fast.
Right. Yes.
So where we build a backyard fire, we feed it all night and we keep it going. A wildfire hits an area, burns until there's no fuel, and moves to the next area. That's how they spread. So it's not that that fire is burning for days or hours. The wildfire might be burning for days and hours, but that's over a whole area. That one specific tree might have only been in the fire for a couple of hours. What happens is the resin melts and releases the seeds, and they come straight up into that freshly burned soil.
Which is like so nutrient dense. I think we talked about that in an earlier episode
and
too.
there's certain ones as well, I can't remember off the top of my head, where the smoke actually releases some enzymes in the seed and allows it to grow.
Cool.
They did some research, and I did this anecdotally years ago, and it worked. And they've done research, I believe it was the University of Saskatchewan. The grass that we sell now, the rough foothills fescue, their seeds do better with smoke and or fire.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so there's another one,
There's another one. Light-dependent germination.
Basically exactly that. So a lot of times we say most seeds don't need light, they go underground.
Yes.
Some of them need to be on top of the ground. They need the heat and the light hitting them. First one, a lot of people will think with that is grass seed. Okay, grass seed isn't light dependent because a lot of times you'll put your grass seed down and then you'll top dress over it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need to be bathed in light 24/7. A lot of times that seed will blow, a light dusting of soil will cover it, or you put it in. So when you see some seed packs and they say like 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch below the surface, a lot of those are light because the light is still piercing because you're not compacting the soil.
Yeah.
So light can get through, and that's basically all it is they need the light. So I think yarrow, blanket, flower, a lot of the spring growers, they have that because they need to pop up right away.
Yeah. Now on the other side of that, darkness dependent germination.
Yeah. They're the ones where 1/2 an inch depth or an inch depth. The exact opposite of what I just said.
This one I'd never heard of. Chemical inhibition.
Yep.
What is that?
So basically there's a chemical coating in or on the seed. And that needs to be removed before the seed can grow. And you find that in extreme conditions. Black spruce in the boreal forest and desert wildflowers. It kind of goes full circle.
Yeah.
Because then that takes you back almost to soaking. So that seed hits the ground and you get a flash storm that lasts 1/2 an hour. That wasn't enough moisture to wash away the chemicals, it won't grow. And it's basically to ensure, so how deserts and the boreal forest have certain places, or certain times, I should say, where it's wet. You get the rainy season.
Yeah.
Is the word I'm looking for. Sometimes it's wet.
Sometimes.
But you can get, I don't know why my brain just stopped. But you can get rain or moisture outside of the rainy season. But that isn't enough to sustain growth. So the chemical inhibitor needs a prolonged period of being washed off to trigger that we're in the rainy season, start growing. And that's how it does it. So basically that's all it boils down to. A lot of those ones you're not going to see at a seed pack that you buy from a stall like Golden Acre.
Yeah, but if you were to say grow a tomato from a fruit, then you would need to remove that gooey bit around the tomato seeds to be able to grow that one, right?
Not necessarily. You have it's so cool. So I've had tomatoes grow in my garden
Yeah.
before from tomatoes that fell off the plant that I didn't bother picking up.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of that pulp around it. So the fruit around a plant is for a number of reasons. Some of them are to attract things to eat them, and
Yeah.
then you get your scarification.
Right.
Some of them, they prevent any light getting in, so now you have germination happening. They also have a lot of moisture and a lot of nutrients, so they feed the seed as it grows. So there's a lot happening with the fruit of a plant.
Okay. Okay. Well, that wraps up all 7 that they mentioned with the City of Calgary's post. Let's go into some sort of myth busting and how this will really apply to you moving forward. So the packet will always tell you how deep to plant.
Yep.
If it says sow on surface or do not cover, that means it's light dependent, correct?
Yep.
Okay. If it says plant a 1/2 inch deep, then it likely needs darkness or a bit of darkness.
Yep.
Like it needs soil over top.
Yep.
Okay. So we've established that. That's like an almost always, you've got 1 or 2 camps.
Yep.
Next one, sometimes. So this will be stratification or scarification. So if it says like it requires a period of cold or chill for 4 weeks, like it would on a tulip bulb, then you know that needs stratification.
Yep.
If it says that it has if it says like what would it say if it needs scarification? Like nick the seed coat or
A lot of times it'll say rough the seed coat. So
rough it.
people will use nail files or sandpaper,
Right.
and they just you're not eroding the seed. That seed coat is still important. So you're not trying to sand it down.
Yes.
All you're doing is just scuffing it, and then the water and the heat will do everything
You'll
else.
get in.
The flip side of what I just said is don't go light. That's not taking a piece of sandpaper and going.
You know, that's
Once.
totally what I would do.
Exactly. No, you want it. So when you touch, best way to do it is tactile.
Yeah.
Touch the seed, it'll feel very smooth. Give it a couple of rubs, touch it. If you're like, it still feels more smooth than rough,
Yep.
scuff it again.
Okay.
Scuff it again. You don't have to scuff the whole thing. You don't need to go around. Obviously, that helps. The more scarification, the better. But you don't want to overdo it on the other part, because then you can start getting in. If you file down too much in one point, you could damage the embryo.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
What a gamble.
Again, think about it in nature. Nature isn't taking a seed and sanding it. It's bouncing it across rocks. It's passing it through a digestive system that'll slightly corrode it, but then it's coming out.
Also, the usually pre-done, so the chemical inhibition one that we were talking about, is this something that you would normally find in the garden center or not? Like, would you ever have to do this part?
Okay, this is very anecdotal. I don't recall ever seeing that.
No, I haven't
I
either.
don't recall ever seeing one that needs, because you're not really going to be able to replicate that. Soaking is 12 to 24 hours.
Yeah.
A seed that has a chemical inhibitor needs a rainy period. A rainy period is often months.
Yeah.
So you're not really going to be able to replicate that. So I've never ever seen that one in a garden center seed.
Yeah, it kind of seems like, you know, as a seed company, you wouldn't want
No,
them to give that extra, because you kind of you'd want there to be like no fail, essentially.
exactly. Well, absolutely. Like you have to make it really, kind of spell it out for people. The other flip side of that as well is we're talking about plants that grow in extreme locations. So that's not what we're growing in our gardens for the most part.
Right.
You go to a nursery, maybe they are growing black spruce from seed.
Right.
But they're going to be watering it so often that triggering that mechanism. So for your average pack of seeds that you're picking up, your tomatoes, your peppers, your sunflowers, sweet peas, whatever, flower, herb, veggie, that's not going to be the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the one that is rarely seen, which I think we already talked about that it's rarely seen, is of course the one that is smoke and fire related.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to really find seeds in, garden centers that will require that, unless I did hear that apparently if you go to a specialty native plant nursery, and we should ask our friends at Eagle Lake if they've ever heard of this, or not at Eagle Lake, Ecologic, that the packet will almost always include a smoke primer disc with specific instructions. That's kind of cool.
That is, I've never seen that.
Oh, I like that. Have you ever seen those smoking cocktail kits?
Yep.
Those are so cool.
I've seen.
I imagine they would be like that. It'd be like,
Yeah.
here's your seed, and then here's your smoke kit.
Yeah.
And then, I kind of like that. Like a do-it-yourself.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Again, most of this is stuff that you buy. It's a perennial. You buy, most of what people, judging from the numbers that we have at Golden Acre, judging from what I've bought throughout my gardening career and what I've seen other people do.
Yeah.
Most of the seeds we buy are annual variety.
Yeah.
Be that flower, veggie, or herb.
Yes.
There's some chives, whatever. But the vast majority, and then a lot of people buy the pre-grown ones.
Yes.
So most of these, I'd say the ones that you're going to see the most would be soaking, light dependent, and stratification, like those skirrets.
Yes. Yeah.
Those skirrets need stratifying.
Right.
So they're going to be the ones you mainly see. Again, like you said, a totally excellent point. The more work somebody has to do, the less likely they are to succeed. The less likely they are to succeed, the less likely they are to buy the product again next year.
Right.
Seed manufacturers, they would like you to buy it again next year. So, and I always think the soaking one, it always makes me laugh because when you're a kid and you have to do the dishes and you're like, hey, you haven't finished the dishes. You're like, yeah, I got to let that one soak. You don't. You just don't want to scrub. Like,
It's so true.
hey, I thought you were planting your seeds. You're like, yeah, they're soaking.
This podcast is brought to you by Golden Acre Home and Garden. Find seasonal inspiration for your home and garden in Calgary, Alberta year-round. Visit goldenacre.ca. The comments and opinions expressed by the helpful gardeners on this show are our own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Golden Acre Home and Garden. For more information on everything we covered today and to leave us a voice note, visit goldenacre.ca/podcast. The Helpful Gardeners are on Instagram at The Helpful Gardeners Pod. Keep on growing, gardeners!